Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be reacting to Annie the Dark Child. So how my reactions usually work is we take a look at the biography and the story for the champion first, and then we take a look at any cinematics or any trailers that they might be in, take a look at their gameplay, take a look at their skins, their wiki, and then we finally end off with the voice lines and special interactions. Of course, I want to hear from you guys in the comments, anything that you may know about Annie, anything that you like about this champion. I don't play League of Legends myself, so there's going to be a lot of things that I just maybe don't understand and things like that, so please let me know. All right, and if you end up enjoying the reaction, I'd appreciate a like on the video. It does help the YouTube algorithm know what kind of videos you are interested in, and then consider subscribing to the channel. We got a bunch of other League of Legends reactions to check out. All right, everybody, let's do it. So Annie the Dark Child. So when I initially was doing some League of Legends cinematic reactions, when I first started this whole adventure of, deep dive into the League of Legends stuff, I do recall, some of the little cinematics for Annie. I know a little bit about Annie only because of the fact that Annie is another one of those champions that I feel like is, when you think of League of Legends, Annie is one of those other characters that's been around for a long time and that I would recognize from being from League of Legends. To be honest, though, I don't fully recall her complete story whatsoever. So we're going to rewatch cinematics, and of course, we're going to deep dive into her full story here. So let's do that. All right, so the quote that the League of Legends website has is, "Ashes, ashes, they all fall down." That's very fitting to have like the little nursery rhyme, not rhyme, but like a little kid song be her quote here. Role is mage, and we have no... okay, so region is Runeterra. We have no actual relationships with other champions, and it doesn't have her actual region in here. It just says Runeterra. That's kind of interesting. So it's very more mysterious than a lot of our other champs, I guess. Dangerous yet disarmingly precocious, Annie is a child mage with immense pyromantic power. Even in the shadows of the mountains north of Noxus, she is a magical outlier. Okay, so she's north of Noxus, just in the mountains, I guess. Her natural affinity for fire manifested early in life through unpredictable emotional outbursts, though she eventually learned to control these playful tricks. Her favorite includes the summoning of her beloved teddy bear Tibbers as a fiery protector. Lost in the perpetual innocence of childhood, Annie wanders the dark forest, always looking for someone to play with. Okay, so she's still just up there in the north of Noxus, like in the forest mountain area, just kind of looking for people to play with. Okay. Now, yeah, and Tibbers is another part of why I know kind of I recognize who Annie is, you know what I mean? Pretty telling artwork here for Annie as well. All right, so here we go at the biography for Annie. Borum Darkwill's last years on the throne were a time of great uncertainty for Noxus, and many with an aptitude for magic left the capital for the relative peace of more distant provinces. Gregory the Grey and his wife, a witch by the name of Ameline, preferred to demonstrate their Noxian strength by taming the borderlands rather than partaking in the political intrigue of the noble houses. Gregory the Grey, why do I recognize that name? The young couple claimed a piece of land beyond the Iron Spike Mountains to the north, finishing their small home just before winter and the arrival of their first child. During their journey, other colonists' tales of the Great Shadows bears that once roamed the territory had captivated Ameline. Now heavily pregnant, she passed the time sitting near the fireplace, creating a toy version of the protective creatures. Just as she finished sewing the last button eye on the stuffed bear, the quickening of labor overcame her. Gregory remarked later that his daughter was eager to play with her new toy, for there, on an ember-warmed hearth, Ameline brought Annie into the world. When Annie was still a toddler, she and her father took ill. As night fell, Annie began to burn with fever, and soon she was so hot she could no longer be held in her mother's arms. Ameline grew desperate, deciding at last to fetch icy water from the nearby river. The next morning, Gregory awoke, weak and groggy from his sickness. In the crib, a now healthy Annie played with her stuffed bear Tibbers, but Ameline was gone. So the mom went to get icy water, but then the mom ended up being gone, and Annie's just now healthy. Interesting. Naively, Annie believed her mother would one day return. Gregory would often find the girl sitting in her mother's rocking chair near the hearth, hugging Tibbers and staring into a crackling fire where he was sure there had been nothing but cold ashes. He chalked up these slips of the mind to the burden of parenting a child alone. Years passed, bringing more colonists to the region, and in time Gregory met Leanna, a woman seeking a new life outside the capital with her own young daughter, Daisy. Okay, yeah, I do recall there being another daughter involved here. Annie was eager for a playmate, but spoiled by the indulgences of being an only child, so acclimation to her new stepfamily was difficult. Whenever Annie's fiery temper erupted, it left Leanna uneasy and quick to take her own daughter's side. It fell to Gregory to keep an uneasy peace between the three. Really? So we're just so the initial mom actually just goes missing and we don't even try to find her or anything? Okay, anyway. Unused to the dangers of the untamed borderlands, Daisy's playing ended in catastrophe for the family. Leanna, of course, blamed Annie for the loss of her daughter, focusing her rage and grief on her stepdaughter's most prized possession, Tibbers. Annie was horrified as the last physical memory of her mother was threatened. The girl's terror grew to an unbridled rage, releasing her latent and powerful pyromancy, and the stuffed bear was brought to life in a maelstrom of protective fire. Okay, so wow. Okay, so it's happening so quickly here. So Daisy's playing just ended in catastrophe for the family, and maybe it's in one of the cinematics what really happens there, because it just kind of glazes over it with one sentence. So Daisy, it just says catastrophe. So does Daisy get hurt, or does she die, or what happens? And then of course the stepmom blames Annie and tries, focusing on Tibbers, and just like, of course, Annie's only memory of her mom is the stuffed teddy bear Tibbers, so that makes sense. When the flames died down and the swirl of ash settled, Annie was left orphaned and alone. Believing most city adults to be like her stepmother, Annie has kept to the wilder parts of her frontier homeland. On occasion, she will use her disarmingly adorable exterior to be taken in by some pioneer family long enough to be offered new clothes and a hot meal. However, fire and death awaits anyone foolish enough to try parting Annie from the stuffed bear at her side. Kept safe by Tibbers, she wanders the dark forest of Noxus, oblivious to danger, and the dangers posed to others by her own unchecked power, hoping one day to find someone like her to play with. Okay, so I imagine there hasn't been much done with Annie's lore since this. She's probably like just still roaming the forests and mountain area of northern Noxus. I'm not quite sure where, I always like to think with these champions, like where could their story go next? Where could they go? What could happen to them? So I don't really know. I mean, Annie's got to get older at some point, maybe, right? I don't know. Let's see what the story is about and see if there's anything going on there where we could maybe see where her character could go next. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're seeing drawings. Okay, so that's supposed to be Tibbers and Annie. That's Tibbers and Annie as well, but Tibbers is like smaller. We have Mom, Dad, Tibbers, and Annie. And then you can't see this other one. All right, so the story is called Trouble. If there was one thing Marson knew how to do, it was to keep his head down. Before him, rowdy voices intermingled with the clatter of tankards and the sloshing of beer. Every once in a while, someone barked a drink order, and just as soon as their coin landed on the bar, a drink slid in front of their waiting hands. His quick and silent service kept him unnoticed, and as such, uninvolved in any trouble. And there was always trouble. It took on many forms: a belligerent brawler itching for a fight, a transaction among cloaked figures that ended with a dagger through a throat, or perhaps most unexpectedly, a little girl pushing through the heavy tavern door. Marson watched the girl hum and skip her way toward the bar. Yeah, a little girl in a bar would be a little like, what's going on here? Behind her, the door slammed shut, one last swirl of winter air blasting across the room, the loud bang grabbing the last few eyes that weren't already following her, baffled by her presence. The girl clambered up a stool, barely peeking over the edge of the bar. Marson took in the child's bright red hair, the tattered toy clutched in her grip, the frayed satchel on her back, and the ragged, unseasonably short-sleeved dress. This, for some reason, gave me if you guys have seen the Imagine Dragons Enemy music video for Arcane, it just makes me picture, Jinx sitting at the bar in that music video. What can I get for you? He asked. The girl stood on the stool and plopped her toy on the counter, peering at the many bottles on shelves. Marson could see it was a stuffed bear, once well-crafted, since well-loved. The stitching at its limbs were visible after many years of stress. Somewhere in its life, it had lost one of its button eyes. Could I get a glass of milk, please? Marson raised an eyebrow but said nothing. He walked toward the far end of the bar to fetch the ceramic jug. Surprisingly, a bar has milk, but I guess in this world, right? Awfully late for you to be out by yourself, ain't it? A deep voice rumbled. Marson sighed. Trouble always attracted more trouble. He pulled the jug down from the shelf and gazed back down at the bar. A large man next to the girl had turned to peer down at her with one good eye. Seated in front of him, the girl looked like a pebble at the foot of a mountain. He was a pile of muscles crisscrossed with scars. Okay, she's about to take down this big muscular man, probably, right? The loops of ropes, chains, and hooks at his belt, along with the massive blade slung across his back, loudly announced him as a bounty hunter. The girl looked up at him and flashed a smile. I'm not alone. Tibbers is here with me. Aren't you, Tibbers? She held up the bear, beaming. Oh, that's such a good interaction there, because, of course, nobody thinks Tibbers is real, but he's absolutely real. The bounty hunter laughed out loud. Surely your parents must be missing you. The girl's hands dropped to her side as her eyes drifted down and away. I don't think so, she replied. Oh, but I do think so. Would pay a pretty penny to see you home safe, I imagine. Marson could practically hear the coins clinking in the bounty hunter's mind, the man already tallying up the prize for her safe return. They can't. They're dead. The girl plopped back down on the stool, staring into the button eye of her bear. The bounty hunter started to speak again, just as Marson placed the mug down on the counter with a percussive thud. Your milk, he said. The girl turned and beamed at him, breaking from her sullen mood. Thank you, sir. She set her bear on the table and reached back into her knapsack. Marcin waited, prepared to accept any coin she put down as payment enough. He did not expect the massive purse that landed with a clatter. A few golden coins bounced onto the counter, one rolling toward the edge. Marcin stopped it on reflex, one finger pinning the escapee. Slowly, he lifted it from the bar, its heft and texture proclaiming it as authentic Noxian mint. Okay. Oopsie, the little girl giggled. Uh-oh. Marcin swallowed, his mouth suddenly dry. He reached over, hoping to shove the coin and the purse back into the girl's satchel before anyone else noticed. That's a mighty big purse for a mighty small girl, the bounty hunter growled far too loudly. Tibbers found it, the girl replied. The bounty hunter snorted. Is that so? It was on the man who stopped me in the road. He was a real meanie. The girl took a sip of her milk, her attention back on her bear. Of course. Okay, so she is kind of surviving just by like they said in the biography, she's just like, you know, sometimes a family will let her in for a hot meal or something, or probably just out on the road. There's some bad people trying to either, you know, take her back to her parents, kidnap her, or whatever, and, you know, so she's just getting money from those people. That's too bad, the bounty hunter leaned in closer on his stool, hand sliding towards the purse. The girl looked up at him, a playful smile dancing across her face. Tibbers ate him. For a moment, everything stood still. Then the bounty hunter's laugh cut across the room. I'm sure he did, he roared. He thrust a meaty hand forward, grasping the toy by the head and yanking it away from the girl. This big old scary monster? Let Tibbers go, the girl cried out, reaching up for the bear. He doesn't like being pulled. True. The bounty hunter just laughed harder. Marcin pocketed the coin in his hand and turned away, walking unnoticed toward the back. He wished he could help, but he hadn't survived this long by sticking around longer than he should. Her voice stopped him cold. I said, let Tibbers go. The words rumbled with gravel and rage, cutting through the din. Against all his better judgment, Marcin paused and looked back. The girl stood on the bar, staring at the bounty hunter, fury smoldering in her eyes. Then chaos erupted. A flare of light and a burst of heat erupted from the girl. See, now I want to know what her actual abilities are and how Tibbers works in the game. I'm very curious. Too late, Marcin threw his arms up, crying out in pain. He stumbled back, knocking into the shelves behind him. Several bottles crashed around him as he ducked beneath the bar, cursing his idiotic hesitation. The screams of men and the sound of breaking wood punctuated a growing roar of flame. A guttural, impossible sound reverberated through the air, rattling his bones. Marcin crawled, still half blinded, toward where he hoped the doors to the kitchens were. Around him, the screams heightened, then stopped with a stomach-turning crack. For the second time that day, Marcin forgot all his honed skills of avoiding trouble and peered over the edge of the bar. A hulking beast loomed, silhouetted against the firelight. Thick strands of sinew bound its limbs to its torso like stitching. With a start, Marcin realized the beast itself burned, unharmed by the hungry tongues of flame that danced across its fur. Okay, so Tibbers literally lights on fire as well. In its claws, it held aloft by the head the slumped, bloody form of the bounty hunter, a limp rag doll in the massive paws of the monster. Before it, the little girl stood wreathed in fire. You're right, Tibbers, she said. He didn't like being pulled either. Wow. Marcin looked around the room in horror. Throughout his tavern, overturned chairs and tables ignited, raising a thick black smoke. The smell of blood and burning flesh crawled inside his nose, and Marcin choked back a cough, his stomach turning. The beast turned and looked at him. A whimper escaped Marcin's lips. He gazed into the glowing abyss of the bear's eyes and swallowed in the certainty of his end. A peal of laughter rang out over the crackle of flames. Don't worry, the little girl said, peering around the monstrosity. Tibbers likes you. Marcin watched, frozen, as the girl hopped, skipped, jumped her way through the burning tavern, the beast lumbering behind her. He stared as it smashed the heavy door off its hinges. He gaped as the little girl turned back one last time, a sweet smile back on her face. Thanks for the milk, sir. And then the girl walked out into the snowy night as the tavern collapsed behind her. Very cool story. So it's like the classic story of like just from the bar, the bartender's perspective there, right? Of just like this little girl walking in, just like that whole, you know, the whole thing happening inside of his bar. But it gave us an idea of how Annie works, how she's surviving out here in the forests and whatnot, and kind of like how other people are interacting when they see Annie and Tibbers, right? You would think after living up here for so long at this point, people are going to probably start hearing about her, right? I would think this would be like a story that even people in Noxus might start hearing about. If like somebody living up here goes to live in Noxus, they would maybe start spreading a story about a little girl and a fiery bear, right? Cool. I really want to see how their abilities work in the game. And I imagine Annie, so I imagine Annie's an older character, but I'm probably guessing she's had her abilities revamped or changed or whatever, right? Since she's one of the older champs, I imagine there would be an update to her character. I have no idea though. All right, with that said, everybody, let's go ahead and start doing some of the cinematics. Well, let's do the gameplay first since I'm so interested in it. And then let's go see the cinematics for Annie. All right, guys, it looks like literally, unfortunately, League of Legends or Riot never did an actual champion spotlight for Annie because, again, I know she's one of the older champs. So they just never did one. I don't know. I tried looking. It looks like a lot of other YouTubers tried making their own, but I didn't want to like watch any of those and not be for sure like knowing what those actually are. And one of them I wanted to watch was like 8 years old, so I didn't think it would be very updated. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna look at her abilities page here on the League of Legends website and just take a look this way. So I have used this page before. I do like that it shows the difficulty of the champ. So her difficulty is moderate. Again, role is the mage. So then we have abilities here. So the passive for Annie is Pyromania. After casting 4 spells, Annie's next offensive spell will stun the target. Annie begins the game and respawns with Pyromania available. Okay, so it's kind of like once you've casted 4 spells, the next one's gonna stun the target, which is just a pretty good passive in my opinion. All right, and then her Q ability is Disintegrate. So let me see this little video. Is that just it there? Yeah, okay, it just looks like a fireball essentially, right? Annie hurls a mana-infused fireball, dealing damage and refunding the mana cost if it destroys the target. Okay, so it's a fireball. If it kills the target, it looks like even if it's a minion, you refund your mana, which is good. I know mana, keeping track of your mana as a mage champ is very important. So then we have W, which is Incinerate. So it's like a cone of flame. Or cone of fire, yeah. Annie casts a blazing cone of fire, dealing damage to all enemies in the area. Okay, so she's a very basic, like, fire mage, essentially, so far, it seems like. All right, next is Molten Shield. Okay, fire shield, makes sense. Grants Annie or an ally a shield, a burst of move speed, and damages enemies who strike her with attacks or spells. Okay, so let's see. It doesn't tell us how long it lasts, necessarily, but still very good. Yep, you can give it to a teammate, and you can give it to yourself, and it gives you a little burst of speed and damages other enemies. Okay, seems like very basic skills so far. It makes me a little curious why she is considered actually moderate difficulty. It kind of seems to me like it'd be kind of an easier character, but I don't know. All right, and of course, okay, the ultimate is summoning Tibbers. Very cool. Yeah, there he is. Okay, and he is on fire. Annie wills her bear Tibbers to life, dealing damage to units in the area. Tibbers can attack and also burns enemies that stand near him. Okay, so, okay, he burns people within the cone near him. So I imagine Tibbers is totally just like AI. He'll walk around and just deal damage to anybody in the area. Does he have like a target? Like, will he go after people that are weaker? How does he work essentially? Does he just go whoever's closest to him? Probably. Okay, too bad we don't get a champion spotlight video. You guys also let me know in the comments if there's been anything done to all of these abilities for Annie. I feel like these are pretty basic abilities. So the only thing I would see them doing is probably changing some of the number parameters around like the damage or something on some of these, or like movement speed from Molten Shield. But these abilities are pretty basic in my opinion. So I don't know if they would have done anything to Annie. Pretty cool. All right, guys, something kind of exciting is Annie actually has a champion trailer for Legends of Runeterra, which is very nice. It's only a year old. But because Annie has like nothing that I can watch. They haven't done even a Wild Rift video for her or anything. I don't even know if she's in Wild Rift. But yeah, it was a little sad that I couldn't get any like champion trailers for her in League of Legends. But luckily, we have one for Runeterra. So let's do Legends of Runeterra. So let's do this.
It's playtime.
Let's turn that off. Okay. All right. So she probably was a launch
You're not gonna use it.
character.
Come out, wherever you.
Oh, that she's singing. Okay, so she's a 1 mana 0/2. That kind of makes sense, right? Attack. I deal 2 damage to my blocker. If it's dead or gone, I deal 2 damage to the enemy nexus instead. And then level up when I've seen you play 6+ fast spells, slow spells, or skills. So just level up when you do some spells, it looks like.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
It's Mr. Kai Pharaoh. Kai.
It makes sense she would be surrounded by Noxus cars.
Oh, I want to play. This way.
Okay. So a lot of her voice lines are probably going to be like wanting to play or things like that.
Your favorite aminal.
Or like that, yeah. Aminal. I mean, she has no parents to raise her, so it's going to be a little weird. Zoe? We like Zoe. Ravenbloom
Friends slow
Conservatory.
down. Now I want to burn you.
Okay, we're seeing the level up animation.
First the smoke, then the fire, then the timber.
Oh, that was cool. She just dropped him behind. Oh, okay, we got to see the level up. Hold on. Or we got to see what she is now. So 1 mana, 1/3. When I level up, create Tibbers in hand. An attack, I deal 3 damage to my blocker and stun it. If it's dead or gone, I deal 3 damage to the enemy nexus instead. Okay, so basically she's doing 3 damage to the blocker anytime she attacks. She's good attacker. She's not good at blocking. So she's offensive.
If they don't break, they'll burn.
Tie bulk. Why have I heard of that before? Oh, it makes sense buffing Annie probably, yeah.
Did you like that, Tibbers? Wasn't
There you
it
go.
fun?
New relic, Troll King's Crown.
There's nothing
Lulu?
a good giggle can't fix.
Okay. They're having her match up against like other like childlike characters. At least in this video. Disintegrate, there's her ability.
Billowing, beckoning.
Don't make me hurt you. They all fall down.
So a lot of fireballs, disintegrate. There's Tibbers. Oh, Tibbers is a 6 mana 5/5 with fearsome. Play, stun an enemy, then deal 2 to all stunned or damaged enemies. Cool. Stuns people when it comes in.
I want to play a game of
Tibbers fans the flames.
burn.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Those were all stunned. So Tibbers just took out 3 enemies. Wow.
Stay in school, Annie. You'll make something of yourself yet.
Oh,
You got a
Jin.
weird eye, Mr. Jin.
Mr. Jin. Jin talking to Annie is wild.
Burn me. Yeah, let's go make some more friends.
Okay, what other cards come here? We got Mana Soul Student, Spellslinger, the Prefect, Tie Bulk, Conservatory. There's the Molten Shield and Disintegrate. Cool. All right, awesome. At least we got one little video for Annie. I know we have the cinematic to watch for her still, but yeah, I was hoping we had a little bit more with the League of Legends stuff, but cool. I mean, yeah, you guys let me know anything about Annie if you guys are using her in Legends of Runeterra. I don't know how many of you still play Legends of Runeterra, but yeah, just let me know how Annie works in that game, if she's pretty good, if she's used at all, or if she's not really that great in the game. Let me know. Okay, so like I said, I believe I've seen this cinematic one time when I was just running through the League of Legends cinematics a few months ago. But now that I know kind of her biography, you know, the little story and a little bit more about her in general, we'll have a better understanding of the cinematic. So let's check it out. It's about 6.5 minutes long. All right. Oh yeah, I remember this art style is pretty cool. Okay, so that's right after everything happens. Oh, who is that? Is that Leanna?
Why, Annie?
Okay, yeah, it's going back in time. So this is the stepmom, right? That's her and her mom. Oh. Oh, right. And then, okay, so here's mom. Here's Annie and Tibbers. And then there's the, you know, the new family. She doesn't feel a part of that family. Oh, yep, Leanna and Daisy off to the side. I mean, I get it, but like, come on. You're not her real mom, so.
And then Mr. Tibbers fights the nasty dragon. Let me. No, he's mine.
Oh, Daisy tried playing with Tibbers.
Stupid. No, he's not. Give him back.
Man, how'd they do this art style? I mean, it's like... I mean, it's Arcane, but not Arcane. Oh. Okay. Wow, Annie smiled there, though. It's a little evil.
What did you do?
Oh.
She took Tibbers.
What is wrong with
Dude, that's the... okay, those two lines right there are the classic thing. What did you do? What's wrong with you? Like, come on. You cannot say that
you?
to a child.
Accident.
Daisy started it.
Oh, did she now?
Good dad, Grigori.
She didn't mean to.
But...
Playing together before you know it, okay? I promise,
Firefly. It's sad that the dad ended up going up in flames in this because she still clearly loved her dad because dad was always included still with like the family generally, except for that one drawing. But yeah. What is that? Oh, is it like a fairy? Looks like a butterfly fairy-ish kind of thing. Oh, okay, so this is what happens to Daisy. Ooh, oh no, oh no. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. I have questions. So was that Tibbers doing that and it became too hot? Or was that just Tibbers opening and we could see like the magic inside of it? Or did Annie do that? See, now I don't know. Because she didn't want Tibbers to be, you know, ripped.
You can't blame Annie. She's still our daughter.
No,
Oh, don't say it.
your daughter's a monster.
Oh, she said it.
How could you say that?
Yeah.
You know it's true.
I mean, how is she a monster? I haven't really seen much to make her a monster. She's just probably kind of a... I mean, come on. She lost her mom. Of course there's trauma there. Oh, here it goes. And Dad tries to save her, but she's the one that actually caused it. And she's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt her. I feel bad for the dad.
Annie, where are you? I got you, Firefly. I got you.
And he ends up saving her, too. Okay. What just happened? Oh, it just went. Okay.
Shut up.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Okay, so yeah, the dad dies, but not the stepmom. Tibbers is gonna... Yep, this is it right here. Yep. Oh, don't... Come on. Yeah, that's her last memory of her mom. Here we go. Wow, this is an incredible cinematic. Holy crap. I'm glad that they did this. The cinematic's 5 years old, but Annie had been out for a while, right? Wow. And then Tibbers eats her. Or whatever Tibbers does. Lights him on fire. Okay. That's how we have Annie walking the forest. All she has left is Tibbers. What a cool champion's like origin here. pretty unique in my opinion. The art style in the cinematic was done very well. Unique as well. Yeah, like even that looks cool. Yeah, that was really good. Damn. That was one of their best in my opinion. And for a champion, like, you know, we don't have, how many champions have a cinematic that is 6.5 minutes long? This is probably maybe the only one. I have no idea what other champions there could be that have this long of a cinematic for their origin story or just in general. You know, even like this new champion Briar that just came out. I think Briar's was only like 1.5 minutes. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, guys, that was a really good cinematic. It doesn't make up for the fact that there wasn't a champion spotlight for her, but it makes up some ground there because it really solidifies the biography and the story that we read. You know, it put her biography into a visual masterpiece for me, and it clarified some things of like how Daisy ended up perishing. I didn't really go into more about how the mom ends up going missing or what happens to the original mom. It's just like she went to go get this icy water. Annie was, maybe I'm missing something there. You guys let me know, because, you know, Annie was sick, Grigori was sick, and then all of a sudden, you know, after Grigori wakes up from his nap or whatever he was doing from his being sick, the mom is all of a sudden gone, and then Annie's fine. So I don't know if there's some sort of mysterious thing there that's been clarified that I don't know about. All right, everybody, holy crap. Annie has 1,000 skins. So let's go ahead and run through these. I will try to do my top 3. You guys let me know in the comments, though, what your favorite skins are from Annie and anything else like that. If there's any like secret lore or anything with some of these skins. So let's go ahead and move in. Okay, so we have the original. You know, of course, original is very good, very good. Let's move on to the next one. We have Goth Annie. Okay. I mean, Goth is still around, guys. Okay. Goth Annie, this is good. I actually think this is like, you know, it portrays the dark version of her. It looks like Tibbers is more of like a phantasmal version or an ethereal version of the bear, but it still looks good in my opinion. I really enjoy that one. Red Riding Hood Annie. Of course, this is kind of perfect for her, to be honest. You know, the Red Riding Hood outfit fits her perfectly. Out of these first 3, now some of these are very old, right? I'm assuming, again, I think this is the date that they came out. It says 2010. Out of these few original here, though, I think the Goth one is just like, I really enjoy that one quite a bit. Let's keep going, though. Oh, man, we're going to have all kinds of stuff. Now we have Annie in Wonderland. I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan, so I think this is a really good one. We got Tibbers as the Mad... Or no, Tibbers is not the Mad Hatter. Tibbers is the rabbit. And then she also has the Cheshire Cat backpack. And then, of course, she's got the classic Alice in Wonderland outfit. Man, these are really good. I'm not going to do my top 3 till the end here because these are going to be so hard to go through because there's so many good themes so far. Okay, we have Prom Queen Annie. You know, this one I will go ahead and say I'm not the biggest fan of. We have a Moo here. What is a Moo doing? Why is he here? And of course he's crying because isn't he just like always this? He's the sad mummy, right? That's all I know about a Moo. All right, moving on. We have, okay, of course we have to do like a frost version or an ice version of her. It's cool. And of course we made Tibbers into like a Yeti instead. Not the biggest fan of it though. Let's keep going. Reverse. Okay, of all the skins to happen, I didn't think this would be the one. But we have Reverse. So Annie's wearing a teddy bear costume and and Tibbers is wearing an Annie outfit, I guess you could say. Let's keep going on. I don't think that's my favorite. Franken Tibbers. Now, a lot of these, I'm trying to see if there's a 3D model down here. It doesn't look like there's a 3D model for this one. I like the idea with this one, but again, I don't think Annie looks all that cool in this. Tibbers as Frankenstein is kind of cool, but I don't really care for like Annie's actual outfit here because most of the time you're going to see Annie, right? The only time you're really seeing Tibbers is when you ultimate. So I think at the end of the day, I'm going to judge it mostly on Annie. But of course, the Tibbers is going to be a part of it. Okay, we have Panda version. Okay, it's just like I guess it's just a Panda version. He has a bunch of fireworks on his back. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like it. I'm still thinking I'm digging these couple original ones, but let's keep going. Okay, so now you can see that it definitely got a little bit more modernized with this artwork. And it looks like there's maybe like 2 years difference between when they came out. I'm not quite sure. So Sweetheart. So is this just kind of like a... I don't know, I guess a candy version. You know, it's like, I mean, it's called Sweetheart. I don't know. And there's lots of red. Or maybe it's like a Valentine's one. That would make more sense. A Valentine's one. And then her hair is blonde. I do like this one. The Valentine's version of Tibbers is actually helping this one quite a bit. And then I think what Annie's got on is cool too. Hextech. So we got like a Piltover Hextech version of her. She looks kind of crazy in this, in the portrait here. We don't have a 3D. There's probably not many choices you can change for the colors. They probably just make the originals here for them. I do, though, like, again, Tibbers helping this one out. He's, I guess he's a Hextech version of Tibbers with the augmentations and whatnot. Let's keep going, though. Super Galaxy. Okay, now this one is probably my favorite so far. I love this one. Tibbers looks insane, and Annie looks insane. She looks cybernetic. She looks super futuristic and everything. This so far is my favorite. Let's keep going. Anniversary. So her 10th anniversary. So in 2019. So that confirms she came out in 2009. I didn't even look it up when she came out. So 2009 is when Annie came out. This is cool. It turned Tibbers into a Yordle. That's kind of interesting. He's actually smiling in this one. And Annie's doing like a little peace sign. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like this one too. So, oh man, this is going to get rough. I know these next couple ones are probably going to be pretty good. For now, we're going to do Super Galaxy and Anniversary are actually in my top 3 for now. Lunar Beast. Okay, so this is with the lunar stuff. She looks really cool here. She looks actually really cool. She's got like some sneakers on too. The sneakers are actually pretty awesome. Okay, Lunar Beast top 3. Let's keep going though. Cafe Cuties. Okay, no, Tibbers is actually making this one a lot better too, because look at Tibbers. He looks insane. Okay, oh, we actually have some 3D models for this one. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, there isn't one for Super Galaxy. There isn't one for the Anniversary, but for the Lunar Beast. See, and then her jacket that she's wearing is super cool, and it's almost like cyberpunky. Yeah, that one's got to stay. Lunar Beast is solid. Now, what about Cafe Cuties? Tibbers is helping this one a lot. So she's almost in like a maid cafe kind of outfit. I don't know what you call this, guys. I'm so sorry. I think this one's good. I don't think it takes over the other two, though. And then we have one more. Fright Night. Okay, Fright Night must be a newer... I don't know if this is a newer thing. It must be. This one would be better than the Goth one, in my opinion. Well, Goth looks really cool, but I don't know how it looks in game. So Fright Night. Oh, yeah, Fright Night. Oh, it's got like a different aesthetic to it. It's almost like, again, like the Borderlands style. I think I've seen a skin like this for another champion, where it's like kind of like the Borderlands style outline to the characters. Okay, I'm a big fan of Halloween skins in any game. Halloween is like probably first or second favorite holiday of the year, personally, for me. So wow, this is gonna be rough, guys. Okay, no, I got it already. This is what I'm gonna go with, guys. My top 3 skins. I want to hear from you guys what your favorite skins are, though, for Annie. Super Galaxy. By far, still, it's really cool for me. Even though I'm not getting a 3D version of it, I think it's super cool. Next up is Lunar Beast. This one, her jacket is awesome. Tibbers is really cool. Tibbers is really cool in the Super Galaxy as well. Yeah, no, she's just awesome in this one. And I am doing Fright Night because Fright Night's different than the other two. Tibbers looks really sinister, and I do like the purple and black here. Of course, you can change the colors a bit. But yeah, the Halloween aesthetic is kind of perfect for her character too, in my opinion. So it works really well. While these other ones kind of don't necessarily go with her character in a sense. They kind of can, I guess, in another way. But yeah, those are my top 3 skins, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are about my top 3. Okay, we have a little tiny trivia as well on her page here. It says Annie was one of the first 6 champions designed. The others being Lee Sin, Singe, Scion, Sivir, and Twisted Fate. Oh, she was one of the first ever designed. I didn't know that. Annie was the first champion to have 12 skins, including Classic. Okay, so she was the very first to have this many skins. Wow. Annie is the second champion to have her ability icons remade with a visual update, the first being Katarina. Okay. Summon Tibbers currently has the highest AP ratio in the game, 515% with initial cast, as well as all 45 ticks from Tibbers' aura. Okay, I don't exactly know what this actually means, to be honest. Annie is the first fire-themed champion, the second being Brand. Okay, I only know about Brand from, you know, other reactions and from TFT. And then in the now, I know he's from Freljord, right? I think. In the now removed official League of Legends forums, the original icon of Molten Shield was used to represent the PvP.net discussion session. Okay, so they used Molten Shield as like an icon on the forums that are now gone. Why are the forums gone? Probably because they were toxic, or many people don't use forums anymore, do they? All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to her fandom wiki. All right, we're taking a look at the fandom page here. So let's go ahead and see if there's any new information we might have for her. Related characters on here. It says Mordekaiser, LeBlanc, and Tybalk. I still don't know what Tybalk is. You guys let me know. I think there was... Okay, I think I saw Necrit did a video like a year ago on like updated Annie lore. Do you guys think I should watch that in a separate video? Or I don't know. I don't know exactly what's going on with Annie. Maybe this Tybalk thing is mentioned in there. I don't know. Maybe I just need to... You know what? Let's do it right now. Who is Tybalk? Tybalk is a fiery demon with ties the Kyosar Hastur family. Originally a servant of Mordekaiser, he was captured by LeBlanc after the Titans' defeat and infused into Ameline Kyosar, whom later sealed him into her daughter Annie's teddy bear Tibbers, where he became Annie's protector. Oh, so that's where all this relationship comes from, and that's who Tybalk is. So it's a demon that is in Annie's teddy bear that was originally a servant of Mordekaiser and then captured by LeBlanc after Mordekaiser died, and infused it into Ameline herself, which was her mom, who then sealed it. Okay, all right, so that answers some questions there. Okay, I'm glad we read that. I almost didn't. All right, let's go ahead and look at the early life, childhood, step family. Well, we might skip a lot of this because you know what? It looks like it's just going to recap the cinematic, but let's see if there's anything in here. Annie was born to Grigori Hastur and Ameline Kyosar, two mages that fled the capital city of Noxus due to their uncertainty of Borum Darkwill's rule. Unbeknownst to Grigori, Ameline was actually a runaway from the Ravenbloom Conservatory. Oh, we saw that card. A school run by the Black Rose, where she was experimentally fused with a demon named Tybalk. Oh my god, it tells you right here in the first thing too. The couple made a home in the Iron Spike Mountains, and Amelie became pregnant. In anticipation for a child's birth, Ameline crafted a stuffed teddy bear based off of the mysterious shadow bears rumored to roam the lands around them. As she applied finishing touches to the toy, Ameline suddenly went into labor and gave birth to Annie. Wow, okay, cool. As a newborn, Annie was given the teddy bear that her mother made for her. When Annie was a toddler, she and her father got ill with a fever that was so hot that Ameline couldn't even touch her. Ameline tried using ice water from the river to ease her daughter's fever, but became desperate, resorting to using the powers of the demon Tybalk to save her. By infusing the demon with Annie's stuffed bear, her illness was magically cured, okay, at the cost of her own life. So that's why mom dies. Okay, so she cured Grigori and Annie because, okay, at that cost. When Grigori woke up the next day, Annie in her crib, cured of her fever and playing with her stuffed bear she now named Tibbers. Ameline, however, was nowhere to be seen. Okay. Oh, and then growing up, Annie's latent magical abilities began to manifest, allowing her to manipulate the flames of the fireplace without her father noticing. Annie naively believed that her mother would return one day, often found sitting by the fireplace in her mother's rocking chair and clutching Tibbers tightly while waiting for her mother's return. Where does Annie's actual magical abilities come from, though? Am I missing something there? I guess because they were two mages. Grigori and mom were both mages, so maybe that's, I guess, where it's coming from. Yeah, okay, that must make sense. So yeah, okay, the step family stuff here, guys, I've skimmed it a little bit. It's just a recap of the Annie cinematic that we did just watch. All right, so we have recent events. This is what I'm interested in here. Ravenbloom Conservatory. After hearing rumors about a girl with fire magic roaming the northern Iron Spike Mountains, see, I was going to tell you guys, this is what I was saying. Somebody's got to hear about this person in the mountains, just like killing people with a giant bear. The Ravenbloom Conservatory sent a scout named Finn Retrick to investigate. Finn, who personally knew Ameline in the past, found Annie and immediately recognized her as Ameline's daughter. Having been sent to retrieve the demon Tybalk and realizing what Ameline had done with Annie, Finn brought Annie back to the school with him to be enrolled as their newest student. Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, so that's this little image that we saw in the Legends of Runeterra cinematic. Okay. In the conservatory, Annie befriended most of her classmates, all of whom were youths wielding magical abilities. This included an Uvi cat Vestaya named Danny, a boy named Sidel, and a prodigy student named Faye. Annie showed a powerful talent for fire magic to the school and became extremely important due to the fact that she was directly linked to Tybulk, an important asset that the school wished to regain control of. Annie was a temperamental and mischievous student, as her misbehavior proved too difficult for the faculty staff to control and discipline. Annie's temper eventually got the best of her as she summoned the full force of Tibbers and set the entire school on fire, forcing everybody to evacuate as the academy burned to ashes. Wow. Okay. So this must have been from the stuff that just came recently, like a year or so ago. Yeah, I'm glad that we got updated lore to Annie because I actually had no idea. I was like, okay, she's just going to stay in the mountains forever. What's going to happen with her? What can they do with her story? But this just happened. Okay, cool. All right, appearance. She is a young girl described with a bright red hair and brilliant green eyes. She wears an infant gothic with a pink and purple palette. She wears a horn tiara, who gives her the impression of an imp, and has a leather bag on her back. She seems to always carry an innocent and malicious face. Yeah, she's a little mischievous of a child, isn't she? With, you know, losing a mom, losing your parents, what are you going to do? Personality. Annie is childish and reckless, putting on a display of innocence while showing an unsettling sense of humor at times. She is very protective of Tibbers, seeing him as her best friend, and will not hesitate to animate him to attack whomever tries to harm her or snatches him from her. She is shown to have an indomitable will which impressed Tybulk, the demon within Tibbers, enough to ally with her. You know what? I totally just realized I'm like glossing over the fact that Tybulk is a demon, but I imagine he's a lesser demon than, you know, Evelyn, Fiddlesticks, Tom Kench. Like, I know there are lesser demons in this world. I don't know. I just glossed over it, but you guys let me know if there's more information about Tybulk. He's not considered one of the 10, right? Or anything like that. I don't imagine. All right, abilities. Magic-born physiology. Annie, like her mother, Ameline, was born with a natural magical talent, which might grow as she matures and trains her abilities further. Though her talents in magic arose as a young child, she is almost completely untrained in them and often loses control of her magic during moments of intense emotion, particularly rage or distress. Annie was initially admitted into the Ravenbloom Conservatory for training, but proved too unruly and mischievous to teach. Fire magic. Annie has a natural affinity towards fire magic, something she may have inherited from her mother as well. Her abilities allow her to control fire with her mind, capable of setting small objects on fire or lighting hearths. After bonding with Tybulk, Annie's magic with fire became enhanced, allowing her to burn entire homes down with a wave of flames or hurl destructive fireballs at opponents. Demonic bonding. Annie has a magical bonding with the fire demon Tybulk, which thoroughly enhances her innate fire magic to an extreme degree. Tybulk is trapped inside Annie's sentimental stuffed teddy bear Tibbers, allowing Annie to manifest Tybulk in the form of a giant fire bear capable of tearing opponents to shreds and setting everything in the vicinity ablaze. Okay, here we go. So relationships. Yeah, she's not having any relationships with, it looks like, any actual champions. Oh, well, we got a little bit down here with LeBlanc and Mordekaiser. Let's see if it looks like the rest of this page is literally all relationships. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so Tybulk and Tibbers. Tybulk, known to Annie as Tibbers, is the fire demon trapped within her stuffed teddy bear. Annie's mother, Ameline, initially contained Tybulk within her own body until she eventually placed him within Annie's teddy bear while magically curing her daughter's sudden illness. Tibbers is Annie's best friend and last companion due to the death of her entire family. Because her teddy bear is the only living piece of Annie's mother she has left, she is extremely fond of him and becomes enraged when someone tries to hurt or separate the two. Tybulk, on the other hand, doesn't care much for Annie and serves only as an extension of her powers. However, he's impressed by her strong will as she is the first mortal he's met that has been capable of taming him. Okay, Tybulk doesn't care much for Annie. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so we skimmed Gregory and we skimmed Ameline, the dad and mom. We're not going to read them. It's all just info we already know. Okay, the only thing of note in Daisy's paragraph here, the stepsister, is the part right here that I questioned in the cinematic. It says Annie tried to save Daisy. Now, I know this can just be edited by anybody, right? But it says Annie tried to save Daisy by reaching out to her with Tibbers and unwillingly heating the stuffed bear with fire because of her overwhelming emotions. So Annie did it by accident, essentially, right? Okay, and then we are skipping Leanna because, again, that's the stepmom. We kind of already know everything about the stepmom. There was nothing new in the Fandom Wiki for her. Okay, so the Ravenbloom Conservatory we are going to skip, but we are going to read about the other students that she met there. So Danny is one of Annie's classmates in the Ravenbloom Conservatory, being a magically talented Uvi cat Vestaya. He is incredibly playful with Annie and friendly with her, with Annie even considering him her second best friend. Oh, wow, okay. Danny also seems curious about Tibbers, mostly due to his magical ability to see magical auras, and noting that he's never seen a powerful aura around a stuffed bear before. Ah, okay. Sidel Kithera is one of Annie's classmates, magically gifted with a connection to spiders, such as his pet spider named Fang. The two seem to get along, with Seidel being mischievous delinquent in the school and bonding with Annie over their troublemaking. Though Seidel would rather do things like skip classes, Annie would state that she thinks it'd be more fun to burn the entire school down. Annie calls Seidel Mr. Kythera, but often has trouble pronouncing his last name. And then Faye is a prodigy within the Ravenbloom Conservatory and one of Annie's classmates. Wielding powerful telekinetic abilities, she is favored by headmistress Telsey, who utilizes Faye to influence the students when they become too unruly for the school faculty to control. With Annie spared when Annie sparred with Faye at the school's training grounds, Faye became interested in her immense power and took a liking to her. Possibly under the orders of the headmistress, Faye would attempt to convince Annie to further her training and expand her powers. All right, so LeBlanc and Mordekaiser, what do we have here? It says LeBlanc, though LeBlanc has never met Annie in person, she runs the Black Rose, a secret society within Noxus that truly runs many schools such as the Ravenbloom Conservatory. In this school in particular, the Black Rose experimented with demons, harnessing their powers and infusing one of them with Annie's mother, Ameline. When Ameline went missing, it's assumed that the Black Rose are the ones who issued the orders to retrieve both her and their experimented demon. Yeah, that makes total sense, because LeBlanc is everywhere at all times, knows everything that's going on, so that makes sense to me. And then Mordekaiser. Annie has never met Mordekaiser, but it's believed that Tybalk had initially been enslaved by him during his vicious reign over Noxus before being harnessed by the Black Rose in the Ravenbloom Conservatory. You know, I would love for Tibbers and Annie actually to like communicate in some way, or Tybalk and Annie, but there's no actual like interaction or conversation between the two. Well, actually, I could be wrong. Maybe there is something in the voice lines. But you know what I mean? I would hope like Tibbers would maybe talk to her more and tell her about him. But I guess not. I don't know. All right. And then we do have a little bit of trivia here. It looks like Annie the Dark Child, and then there's original Annie. I guess we'll just go over the Annie the Dark Child. We won't look at the original Annie stuff. All right. It says Tibbers was handcrafted by Annie's mother with the mythical shadow bears as a template and is the only memento she has of her. She uses it as a focus for her pyromancy to bring Tibbers to life, as opposed to the previous lore when he was just a shadow bear whom Annie herself enthralled. Okay, so that's the difference. Annie's stepmother is named Leanna and her stepsister is named Daisy, just like the Sentinel Ivern summons. Okay, so Ivern I know is a champion. It is unknown if these two are related or not. Tibbers lost his button eye in the incident where Annie lost her stepsister Daisy. While distracted by chasing after a fairy, Daisy fell in a rushing river despite Annie trying to warn her. Annie attempted to save her, but Daisy was swept away in the current. It is most likely that Ameline drowned in the river she tried to draw water from due to poor visibility in the middle of the night. It is stated that there's only one river near their home, and considering that Annie and Daisy would not have been allowed to venture far from their house, it's most likely the same river that Daisy drowned in. Well, I guess, is that true, or is it more the fact that she like did the thing to like rescue Annie or to save Annie from this sickness, right? I guess which way did the mom actually die? I don't know. Her current appearance was due to an unknown adopted family that lived around the Iron Spike Mountain regions of Noxus. She is currently 9 years old. Wow. I don't know if that's still the case or what. It is implied that Annie's pyrokinetic magic passively shields her from the cold of winter, being perfectly fine in a short-sleeved dress. If she had to actively use her visible flames to keep warm, it is more likely that a meanie devoured by Tibbers that had stopped Annie on the road would have avoided antagonizing her in the first place. And then Annie Origins depicts Annie with brown hair, but Trouble states that she has bright red hair. Oh, does it? I don't recall it saying that now. Okay, very cool. You guys let me know if there's anything else that I need to know about Annie that wasn't included in the fandom. I think we got a pretty good idea of Annie overall as a champion, even with the more recent stuff. So I'm glad we got this recent stuff of, you know, she went to the Ravenbloom Conservatory. She went to a school of magic, right? But of course she was still Annie being Annie, and she burned the school down. So my question is, where does she go from here? All right, everybody, we're finally getting into the special interactions for Annie and Legends of Runeterra. I had to move over to this side so you guys can actually see the text. Let's just dive into it. Looks like we have about 2 minutes of voice lines here, but there may be a little bit more scattered in the Skin Spotlights video somewhere.
Stay in school, Annie. You'll make something of yourself yet.
I already made something. Fire!
Fire is beautiful, billowing, beckoning.
And it burns down a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Donnie, wanna play with
Oh, that's Donnie. Okay, so it's Donnie, and Donnie is the Mana Soul student.
Okay, that sounds like fun.
Okay.
You've got a weird eye, Mr. Jin.
The better to aim with, my dear.
That's so cool that they're interacting. And I like how like Annie's interacting with other
Mr.
people.
Kythero.
Kythero.
Kai.
It's
Kythera.
Kythera, Annie.
Yeah.
Hey, Tibbers.
Hi, are you
He said hi to Tibbers.
new too? I'm Annie.
You're something special, aren't you, Annie?
Oh, is this the Seidel? Not Seidel. The this is Faye probably, right? The prefect.
What good's power if you're not gonna use it?
You sound just like Tibbers.
Whoa.
Look, Tibbers, it's Noxus's. What's the
It's Noxus's.
Tori? So this is Noxus's? It's so big. You're so much bigger
Oh.
in real face.
In real face. So there we go. I would have figured out who Tybulk was if we hadn't even read the fandom, but still.
I made it burn big, just the way you like.
Yep.
Don't be scared, Tibbers. They won't hurt you.
Yeah, I actually wonder, when it comes to these demons, I always am curious, like, how would Tybulk be taken down,
All fall down.
Hmm.
Say night-night.
Say night-night.
Eeny, meeny, miny,
Uh-oh.
burn.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
Don't be scared. It's just fire.
Well,
What's
yeah.
that, Tibbers? You're funny.
Now, actually, I do have a question about the fire stuff. It doesn't actually mention that she has fire resistance or anything. Does she just maybe well, I guess the molten shield, maybe we just assume she uses molten shield to not take fire damage, right?
Did you like
Wait. Is the hum supposed to be any certain
that,
tune or is it
Tibbers?
just whatever?
Wasn't it fun? Yeah! Let's go make some more friends. No one.
I'm
puts
sure it's
out
hard for her to
my
make friends.
fires. Tibbers isn't gonna like that.
Okay, we have a little bit more.
And then I went whoosh whoosh, and they died it.
Both your parents with the toy they made you.
That is interesting.
Shouldn't you be in school, little girl?
I burned school down.
Oh.
Now I wanna burn you.
Ooh. Okay, we have a little bit
Annie,
more here
Who's your
too.
best friend?
Tibbers, I know all his secrets.
Hmm.
Annie, who's your second best friend?
Maybe you, Donnie.
That's nice.
Whoa, I've never seen a doll with an aura.
His name is Tibbers.
Aha.
And he's not just a doll.
Oh, the way she said that.
Hey, Annie. Think Tibbers wants to come play?
Ooh, not a good idea.
Tibbers
She whispers it. Oh, that's so good.
says yes.
He said
It's
yes.
more than magic.
Hey, Annie, want to skip class?
We could
Mm.
skip class, or we could burn the school down.
Hey, Donnie.
She says it so casually. It's wild. All right, looks like that's all we have for the Annie voice lines in Legends of Runeterra. If there's any I missed, you guys can let me know. We are going to do the special interactions in the actual game, though, so hopefully we get a little bit more with that. But, I mean, no surprises here. She's acting the way I kind of expected her to act. She's definitely a mischievous child. She's a 9-year-old child that no longer has parents, and she has a best friend that is a demon. I mean, I have no other way of how she would act in my mind other than this. It is cool, though, that at the school, she was able to make friends a little bit there until she burned it down. Now, we don't know if anybody died in the school. It doesn't actually tell us. Hopefully, her 3 friends, the students there, are still alive, and maybe they'll come into her future, sometime down the road. We have no idea, but she no surprises here with how she talks and everything. I think the funniest line for me though was when she actually whispered to Tibbers if he wanted to play. I thought that was very funny. But yeah, let's continue on and see what other voice lines we get. All right, folks, I had no idea that there has not been an official video from Skin Spotlights or anybody really else for Annie's voices in League of Legends. So unfortunately, all we really get are those Legends of Runeterra ones. I did find a video that's like 9 years old that will do the voices for. I listened to a tiny bit of it, so hopefully this is good enough video. But yeah, hopefully we would need like a rework, or does she not really have any voice lines in League of Legends? I don't know how this generally works. I know it's probably because she's an older character. Like Yasuo had voice lines, but I think that's because his were updated, because I know he's very old as well. But let's go ahead and listen to this, and then we'll just do a little discussion on Annie overall.
Take that! Don't make me hurt you! Eeny, meeny, miny, burn!
Okay,
Let's
we heard that
count to
one.
5. I wanna turn. Playtime! Can they do this? ashes.
there's
they
ashes.
all fall
I was gonna say, okay,
down.
we didn't hear that in Legends of
And-
Runeterra. Oh, that's her dying, I assume.
Tibbers.
Tibbers.
You smell like burning.
Smell like burning.
What's your favorite animal? A bear?
Oh god, that laugh is kind of scary. I don't like it.
Have you seen my bear Tibbers? This way. Try to keep up. Are we there yet?
Are we there yet is perfect because that's what every kid says. We all said it. If you've gone on a trip anywhere, or if you wanted to really get somewhere, are we there yet?
Never play with matches. Don't be
Oh.
a scaredy cat. Hop, skip, jump. Come out, wherever you are.
Okay, so they're doing the classic, little child voice lines, but they're doing it in a way that makes it kind of scary, and in a way that Annie would do it, right? Like the laugh is terrifying. I'm not a fan.
Beaten by a little girl.
Where have I heard that voice line in that exact way? Maybe I've heard it randomly playing TFT or something.
You can't come to Tibbers' tea party. I'm rubber and you're on fire. Get him,
I've heard that
Tibbers.
too.
Bear hug. Tibbers! Yay, Tibbers!
So does she never call him Tybalt? Probably not.
Found him.
Okay, so that's it. All right, that's cool. I guess that's all we're going to get. Again, I tried looking. I don't see any other video that somebody's done for Annie's voice lines in the game. So I assume this is all there actually is. And some of these voice lines, I must have heard them in Teamfight Tactics, like you've been beaten by a little girl or whatever. I know they probably incorporate some of the League of Legends voice lines for Teamfight Tactics. I have no idea. And also, does Teamfight Tactics, have they ever done special voice lines in that? I don't think that's a thing, is it? You guys have to let me know about that. All right, guys. So I decided to do this Annie reaction kind of blind because it's been recommended that she had a couple of updates recently. I see with the Ravenbloom Conservatory, that was the update recently. The Annie cinematic about 5 years ago was very, very good and almost alone that could have been a video. But I thought this reaction was fun. I enjoy the fact that she's unique to everybody else. And of course, I've said that many, many times so far, but that's the unique thing and the great thing about League of Legends champions is they're all very unique and they're all well done in my opinion, even though some people have said like, the new champion Briar is kind of like, oh, it's just another, crazy girl character or whatever, which I guess maybe you could even lump Annie in there, right? It's a crazy girl character, but Annie is one of the oldest, right? Or she is the oldest. I don't know. I'm not quite sure who the oldest is. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this reaction because, when you think of League of Legends, Annie is actually one of those people that comes to mind because she's somebody that I remember seeing a long time ago or I just know about just from like pop culture references or anything like that, right? And same with Tibbers. I don't think I would have known his name right off the bat from the beginning of this reaction, but hearing his name, I'm like, oh yeah, Tibbers. I know Tibbers. Of course, I want to hear from you guys, though, in the comments. Let me know, if you guys have any funny stories about Annie or anything about, like, you using her in the game or just, what's going on with Annie overall with, the mass players that play League of Legends. Is she still in meta? Is she used at all? Or is she kind of like a dying character at this point because she's, so old? I don't know. Just let me know if you guys have any like personal stories with Annie yourself or if she's one of your favorite champs, anything like that, please let me know. And again, I always like to bring this up towards the end of the videos when we're doing our discussions, but I'm curious where her character is going to go in the future. So she just burned down the school. Clearly she can't do well inside buildings. She's just going to burn them down. So what do we do with Annie lore-wise? I can't see her. I want to actually, this is what I want to happen, is I do actually want Annie to meet other champions. That is one of my favorite parts of these League of Legends reactions is like when they actually meet other champions, when they have interactions with them, when they interact in some sort of cool way or some sort of connection there that just, adds to the full story of Runeterra. So, in the Legends of Runeterra voice lines, we did get her interacting with Jin, which was very interesting. So why is she talking to Jin? I feel like Riot, maybe they do things randomly sometimes, maybe they don't. But why did she have a few voice lines with Jin? That was kind of the only character that is an actual champion, I think, that she had an interaction with. She had the interactions with the other students, but it was mostly Jin. So I wonder what that's about. Maybe there's more to that. So please let me know if there is. But off the top of the head, I can't really think of where her story would go. So a lot of the other champions, I was like, oh, this could happen in the future. They still have this mysterious thing they need to find out. But Annie is kind of like, she doesn't have any goals really, right? She doesn't have anything that she set out to go do. And I feel like the other champions do. So maybe Riot will think about doing something with her in the future where they give her something that she needs to work towards or some sort of mystery she needs to figure out. Or I guess maybe it's just like honing her abilities more. Or maybe something will happen to Tybalk or Tibbers, right, in the future. And she'll need to set out about like getting him back. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking off the top of my head of like what they could do with her lore. Or they might just leave it here. But they just updated her like a year ago with the Ravenbloom Conservatory. So who knows? Maybe she'll just end up joining like a team of other mage students and they like create a team or something and take down, I don't know, some bad people or something. Who knows? I think that's going to be it, guys, though. Let me know in the future if there's anything that you guys want to see from me. Reaction wise, any certain champion, anything like that, please let me know in the comments. It's always helpful. Any constructive feedback too is always helpful. I've been doing a few of these now. You guys seem to have enjoyed them, but if there's like little nitpicks here and there, just let me know if I could fix it. Like for example, in the Legends of Runeterra voice lines, I noticed I missed a few voice lines in some of those videos because you have to like look in other sections. So things like that, just point them out to me, guys. I'd appreciate it. Thanks again, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on the video. It does help the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to the channel. We got a bunch of other League of Legends reactions you can check out. So please go check those out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.